podcast. We're glad that you're with us today. Today, I feel like we're still like on a little bit of a high from Easter. We just had Easter weekend.
It was an amazing event here.
It was amazing. Yeah, it was. We always do an Easter on the beach. So we live in Palm Coast, Florida. Thomas leads a church. He's a pastor. So we get to go out onto the beach, toes in the sand, no shoes, shorts, and we get to watch the sunrise over the horizon of the ocean while we sing songs about Jesus rising from the dead, and we hear a message on the resurrection. And it's incredible. And this year was really one of our best years yet as far as attendance.
Yeah.
There were around 1,000 people there. It's really hard to count when you get that many people and everybody's moving, and so it's very difficult. But we're thinking around 1,000 people were there on the beach to worship Jesus, and the energy and the excitement and everything was just fantastic. And we had an awesome weekend.
And then we baptized 19 people in the ocean that day. So always a fun really time incredible when people are making their faith in Jesus public in such an amazing place. So it was just all around a great day. I still feel pretty worn out and exhausted from it. So like you may notice like I feel low energy.
You look low energy and you feel low energy. And I'm like, ah!
She's buzzing, but
I'm highest energy.
So for the first time in the history, 289 episodes, Lysandra is going to have to carry this episode.
Let's be honest, I carry every episode. I'm dragging Thomas through every episode.
You're dragging me to Webster's dictionary is what you're doing. But yeah, it was an amazing time. And we're looking forward to the fruit that is going to be produced by all the seeds that have been planted. Really just like a dream come true.
It was.
You know, when we first moved here and we had this is our 5th Easter, but we've been here 4.5 years. So our first Easter here, like the biggest goal I could dream of was 1,000 people on the beach.
And I was like, don't make dreams so big. Stop it.
She's like, that can never happen.
That's never going to happen.
And we literally don't know how many people were there. We had 750 the year before, and there were way more people than that. So I have no idea. But it was just amazing, like beyond what I could ask or think. So I did, for the first time, record the sermon on my phone using a Bluetooth microphone. And if you haven't had a chance yet, just to see what the environment was like, I think it's pretty cool because like I'm standing there looking out at the crowd and you can look past me and see the sun that is rising. So it's pretty cool.
It's incredible.
Like even if you don't listen to the whole thing, check it out just so you can see what it was like.
Although it was a very good message. But I will say this too, like follow us on socials because we posted pictures and videos and reels and stuff from it, and it really was just incredible. So we'd love to share that with you. But today we're taking quite a shift, and in our podcast episode, we're talking about our new book.
Here it is.
Discipline That Works. This is not an official copy. This is
our proof copy.
Proof copy. Yeah, proof copy.
So this one's not for resale. We might be able to auction it off to the highest bidder.
Oh, yeah. For the right amount of money, we'll sell it.
No, it's not for resale, but we can auction it off.
That's different?
Yes, you're not selling it.
Legally, that's different, although it's completely the same.
You're auctioning it off. So, but yeah, we're excited about this. This is available on Amazon right now. Link will be in the show notes, so you can just buy it there. And it's been great to see copies of that going out. I think it'll be helpful to a lot of people.
I hope so. And then our author copies are on the way. What day did you say they might be here?
They will be here Friday, so just a couple days away. Then that will be up on our website as well.
Then we can offer you signed copies.
Signed copies, yep. And it's like one of our books. We had a guy who he's over like missionaries in Mexico or something. Do you remember that? Where's he over? Anyways, he bought a bunch of our marriage books. Oh,
yeah. His last name is Large. Dave and Diane Large, I think. Yeah,
You're the one who's supposed to remember names here.
I know,
You're really
honey.
dropping the ball.
I'm almost positive it's Dave and Diane Large.
She's like, I carry every episode. Yuck, yuck, yuck.
You want to see discipline that works? Okay, so anyway, yeah, but this we're hoping that it'll be a really good help to other people. And every time we have a book come out, we like to do a podcast episode where we kind of talk about it, talk about the content that is in the book. That way, whether you read it or not, hopefully it'll be a help to you.
Yes, but tell us about your Easter and how everything has been going your way. We love those conversations there in the comments section. And now we are ready to jump into talking about discipline that works. Gather round, everybody. It's time for a family meeting. The Family Meeting is a show that's all about family relationships. We're the Osterkamps. I'm Thomas, and this is my wife, the very lovely, very patient, Lysandra.
Hello, and welcome to our family. Welcome to episode 298 of the Family
What?
Meeting
No,
podcast.
no,
Oh,
no,
89. Whoa, that dyslexia really gets you. Should I just start over?
Nope, that's in.
Let me start over.
This is all in, baby.
Oh,
Once we
man.
start, we don't stop. But
That's
I'm
how
like-
you know you get the raw, real Osterkamps.
I literally was like, okay, no, I can't let her continue there because 300 is a very special episode when we
Yes.
do a whole family meeting with the 6 of us.
Yeah.
And we're going to be changing up kind of how things look a little bit. So we're not quite
We're not that
ready for that yet. So
Oh, you guys, I do have a little bit of mild dyslexia, not gonna lie.
289. So here's what I want people who are listening to the podcast. So if you're not watching YouTube, I was explaining to those who are watching YouTube, I'm a little bit of low energy today because we just got off of Easter just a couple days ago, still feeling the effects of all of everything that went into that. And Lysandra's like, I've got tons of energy. I'll carry this episode. And I'm like,
Yeah, I have tons of energy, but I still can't read.
it's like, I don't know where you're carrying this episode to, but it's nowhere great so far.
Man. Okay, can I tell a quick dyslexia story from my childhood?
Yeah, you might as well. I mean,
Okay.
here we are. We're
We're in it now. All right, let me first tell everybody what the episode is about because I didn't even get that far.
It's about dyslexia and how it affects your podcasting abilities.
We could actually do an episode on dyslexia
Yeah, I know. That's
because our kids have it too. Okay, no, this
we
is
planned
not.
all this, right?
No, but we could shift gears quickly and maybe make it work. All right, listen. The episode is on Discipline That Works, which is our new book that's coming out. That is out. Excuse me. It is out. You can get it on Amazon and Kindle. So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about discipline today. But I have to tell this story from my childhood about dyslexia. It's like super sad, guys. I want you to feel bad for me, okay? All right.
Trust me, they already do.
Yeah, because I married you.
Oh, jeez.
So I was turning 11. So I was 10, turning 11. And
So for those of you who aren't dyslexic, if you're dyslexic and you read 11, it's 11.
it's still 11. It's one of
Is
the
that the
easiest
story?
numbers. No.
Oh,
Okay, so every year my dad would take us on a birthday date. My dad would take the girls on a birthday date. My mom took my brother on a birthday date. And we would go out to dinner, and then we would have a small amount of money to spend, honestly, for a present. The amount of money that we were allowed to spend was $20. And that was our
okay.
gift.
Gotcha. 20.
But it was every year I could not wait for my birthday date with my dad. So we went to dinner, and we went shopping at Kmart.
Wow.
Yes, Kmart was still open at that time.
Kmart was like, every time I went in Kmart, it was like a ghost town. It's like, is anybody working here?
I don't know how it survived as long as it did.
I know. It's no wonder that it didn't last, but yeah.
So we're in Kmart. I'm so excited.
How old are
And
you?
it's like 1995, 96, okay? And I see this outfit that is so epic. It is black slacks with like a gold chain belt thing that's like connected to the slacks with a gold and black striped shirt and like a vest it's all attached. It's like one suit thing. And it was like epic, right? I mean, it was amazing. And
Didn't Rose wear that from the Golden Girls?
probably, yeah, probably.
I don't know which one Rose is. I just know the name.
And so actually, and I just remembered that my birthday amount was $20, but I think that might have included the meal, or maybe we only had $15. But I know that we did not have more than $20 to spend. So we see this outfit, and my dad is like, "Oh yeah, it's great. This is great. Let's see the price." We're both like, "Oh, $12. Yes." We get up to the register. It was $21. We both read the tag wrong because my dad has dyslexia as well.
Did you have to put it back because it's $1 over?
I had to put it back.
No.
Yeah.
For $1?
I put it back. But that's why I'm saying I don't think it was $20. We must have only had 15 or 10 or something. Like, I don't know how much money we had to spend, but I know that 21 was way over what my dad could afford. So it must have been more like $10 that we could afford. And when he saw it was 12, he was going to get it for me. But then it ended up being 21, and there just wasn't enough money.
So, little spoiler alert for the girls' whole lives. I do the birthday dates, and
they're supposed to get a meal plus $50 of shopping money. What are you telling us?
well, I mean, originally it started off as $50
Total.
including the meal.
Yeah. And then
We never stayed in the limits. I mean,
I know you didn't. I do the finances. I know you didn't.
there's times where we were $50 over. I mean,
that's double.
very good. That's fast math.
Hey, even with dyslexia, I can double numbers.
Just not all the time.
But yeah.
So yeah, I was gonna say there's no way it can be just $1.
Right. But we even with how you and I have been.
How disappointed were you though?
I was devastated. Like, I was really devastated. I
Did it
tried
ruin
really
the
hard.
date?
No. I tried not to cry, and I tried to not show it to my dad because I know that he was crushed too because he wanted to get that for me.
Yeah.
And he was dealing with his own emotions of like being sad that he could not provide that thing for me that I wanted so badly. And so I kept saying like, "It's okay, Daddy. I didn't really like it that much anyway."
Do you know what you got instead?
No, I don't remember. I'm sure that I didn't care about it because I was really
Like
disappointed
the
about that
disappointment
outfit.
overshadowed the
Yeah.
whole thing.
So I'm thinking that what I really need now to make this all right.
You've gotta
and
find it.
to get over the trauma is I think I need to buy a giant, like adult size black slack, gold belt.
Yes, we've got to find it.
Gold and black striped with a vest suit that I can wear.
Yes, and you have to go to one of the speaking events and you've got to speak in it.
I would never wear that. Like, I can still picture it. I have a photographic memory. Like, I can still picture the outfit very clearly. I would never be caught dead in it now.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Did I never tell you that story?
No, I've never heard this story.
Yeah, that's the story of me and my dad's shared dyslexia. And I didn't even have it as bad as my sister. My sister and my dad both had it really bad, and then I just had a little bit of it. And my brother, God bless him, he didn't get anything. He was like, no issues, no hindrances in his learning like he did.
But the point of the story is hope deferred makes the heart sick. I mean,
Truth.
that's what
Scripture.
Solomon told us. So
Yep.
she's disappointed. Now, do you actually know what we're talking about? Like,
Well, I do know that it is episode 289
yes.
of the Family Meeting Podcast.
You scared me because I saw 298 or heard 298, and I was like, wait
You're
a
like,
minute.
we're not ready for 300.
Yeah.
We got to get ready for 300, though. It's going to come fast.
Yeah, we got a couple months to get ready. We've started getting ready with some of the changes we're going to make, but yeah. So, did you ever tell them what we're talking about?
I did. I told him we're talking about Discipline That
Okay.
Works, our new book that is out. You can get it now. Our author copies are coming.
Oh, that's right, because you said
Friday.
coming soon.
Yeah, our author copies are coming Friday. And then we will be able to offer you signed copies from our website. But right now we can't offer that to you because we don't have them yet. But they are on their way.
And just about 10 days away from Marriage Conference, Reach Church, Sorrento, Florida. Looking forward to a great time with them. New church, which means new friends, and we're looking forward to that.
Can't wait.
And then the next weekend, we will be in Ohio, and the event itself is not being held at the church. It's being held in Berlin, Ohio, and we're doing a marriage retreat up there that will take place April 24th through the 26th, ends on a Sunday. Have our last session at the resort up there. 2 days later, we're going to be in Columbus at Fellowship with Tony Luizzo, who many of you have heard on this podcast
Yes.
talking about his son's battle with cancer. Son's cancer-free, doing
Amen.
great right now. So total God
Praise the
story
Lord.
for those of you
Yes.
that remember that. If not, go back and check out what that conversation. But going to be refresh, ministry refresh. So looking forward to spending some time with a bunch of pastors, ministry leaders, talking about marriage and family and the importance of prioritizing your family in the midst of the chaos of ministry. And then I have to share this because this past, Thursday, we had a conversation with Caleb Worley, who pastors out in Las Cruces, New Mexico.
Yes.
And we're going to be doing a marriage conference out there for them in September. So heading out west, we'll have all that information for those of you that want to join in on that fun. I know we have a lot of listeners out there in the West Coast. This will be your next opportunity without traveling a long, long way to come and interact with us. We'd love to see you there. So a lot of fun things, exciting things that are happening. And we'll talk probably more next week, but our third-born daughter is getting ready to graduate in May. So that's
Yes.
coming up
Can't
less
wait
than a month away.
to just celebrate her.
We got a
and
lot,
she's doing so
lot
well.
going on family meeting-wise.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, our family is changing and transitioning. And it is wonderful and sad, and there are a lot of mixed emotions, but I will say this. It is also beautiful because we spent a lot of time disciplining when they were young.
Yes.
When they were young, we made discipline a huge priority, and we prayed and we asked the Lord, excuse me, I'm so sorry. I turned that off.
Here, and the phone turns off like this.
I turned off my alarm.
You apparently didn't. So, Lysandra, we have a rule. Lysandra's supposed to turn her phone off because of things like that.
Yes, because I have prayer alarms happening all the time. And
Phone calls, texts, alerts.
yes, I got a lot going on.
So, once again, carrying this episode.
I am failing so bad at today's episode, you guys.
Well, what was
Can
funny...
I ever get anyone's forgiveness?
What is funny is she's like, I carry every episode. I'm like, oh, really?
Yeah, I know. I'm all talk.
Yeah.
But you're all talk too, so.
No, I'm not. I've been carrying every episode, and I let you at one time, and this thing is a train wreck.
Yeah.
So buy our new book. We'll see you next week. Just end it now.
Put us out of our misery. Oh, guys, I'm sorry. And I even was like doing a really beautiful transition.
What were you even talking about?
I was talking about discipline and like how everything that we are going through now with our kind of growing into adult children is beautiful and lovely and peaceful because of the effort we put in when they were young, disciplining them.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying.
I miss the days when they were young.
I do too.
Like I've loved every stage.
Yeah.
The season we're in right now is great. We have great friendship with our kids, but
yeah.
I miss when they were toddlers. I don't remember if I mentioned this on the podcast or not, but just the other day, I had a dream that the girls were toddlers again, and we were running around some building. I don't remember where it was. And we were playing hide and go seek and stuff when they were just little toddlers, 3 and 4 years old. That was probably my favorite age. But
oh yeah, and he was you guys, he was a super dad at that
was.
age. Like, no, I'm saying when
like-
they were that age, you were a super dad. Like you shined in that moment. Like that was
I peaked.
you.
I peaked too early 15 years ago.
You peaked early, but that's okay. You got to peak sometime.
Yeah.
So it's just
30,
like,
that was it. That was my peak.
it's all downhill from there. But that's okay. At least you had a good run.
I did. Yeah.
But seriously, like having babies, having toddlers is so much fun. But we know it's so much work. We know you guys are tired.
Well, and we know some of you are in the midst of what we're going to be talking about when the kids are small and it's heavy on the discipline.
Yeah.
And it just feels like those days will never end.
It's true. It feels that way. It is exhausting, and we know that, and we feel for you.
Days are long.
We felt it too.
Years are short. It
Yeah.
will go by so fast.
It's really true. And then one thing, too, about discipline that works is we try to emphasize the fact that discipline is not just for toddler age. Discipline happens the entire time they're in your home.
Yeah.
even if they're adults, if they're living in your home, there's a certain amount of discipline that comes into play. Not a lot, and it changes a lot.
The bulk is when they're small.
Yes.
Like if you haven't been doing that now and they're 10 years old, like you start now and you put in the work now. But for the majority, it's like the bulk happens when they are young and when they're toddlers.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And if you can get a good foundation, then you'll set yourself up for success.
A lot less discipline later on.
Exactly. But even in our book, we do tell stories about disciplining when they're teenagers and even young adults still living at home. We share some stories about how discipline comes into play even then.
Well, and I just think about this podcast, the way that it has unfolded with the many mistakes, and you see the raw and whatever. And by mistakes, I'm looking at listening.
Yeah, he's really glaring at me. I'm getting some side eye.
But we did that on purpose because we do the same thing in our books. Whatever we're talking about, we don't just put a nice family photo up there, and we show the things that we did wrong, the mistakes that we made. It's one of the reasons why we just, if whatever happens on the podcast, we leave it in. We have a delivery driver show up, like they're on the podcast. Like,
yeah, when Coconut is like scratching holes in our rug,
yeah,
you hear that.
Thankfully, he's upstairs with the girls today, but he might as well have stayed down here the way this is going. But but in the book, we talk about it. So like we're very open. Mm-hmm. We're not afraid to show behind the curtain.
Yes. One of my favorite parts about the book, one of my favorite aspects, I think, of the book is we have a portion called the Age of Discipline.
Okay.
The Age of Discipline basically says, like, okay, if you're trying to implement this principle that we're giving you, here's how you do it at toddler stage. Here's how you do it at elementary stage. Here's how you do it at adolescence. Here's how you do it in teen years, and here's how you do it in young adult age. And so
that was your idea, and that was such a great idea to show that the principle applies across the age span.
Yep, it just looks a little different, but the principle applies. And I also wanted it to be a book that wasn't just for parents of toddlers or just a parent, like, because there are really great books out there on like disciplining teens or raising teenagers or like dealing with toddlers. And all of those are great, but I really wanted the principles of this book to span the ages.
Yeah.
And so we do have a portion in most of the chapters called the Age of Discipline. And it really explains to you how to implement that principle no matter what age your children are.
Well, and it's to give you ideas of what that looks like. The principles themselves, they'll work for whatever age. And you just take that principle and apply it to where your child is at in that season. So
Exactly.
if you are disciplining, I'll say this, if you're disciplining your child at 17 the way you did when they were 3, you're not doing something right.
Absolutely. There's an issue there for sure. And I know some of you, you're feeling like discipline is so exhausting. It's so hard. You're tired of repeating yourself. You're tired of raising your voice. You're wondering if your discipline is actually working. And so we understand that. And so we want to share with you really the heart and the principles and the practical strategies behind our book, Discipline That Works.
Before we do that, I wanted to, this was going to be in the notes and it's not in the notes.
Oh, yes.
So, do you have it?
I do, but you turned off my phone.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be here. Okay, let's see if I can beat you.
Oh, this is such a blame game episode.
You guys, I think that's every episode.
We literally have episodes on not blaming your spouse, and all we're doing right now is being a bad example. But I will say, I have learned from bad examples in my life.
Yes.
So we are helping you learn by being a terrible example of blaming one another for any mistakes that happen. All right, I am pulling up my phone, and it is going to be 2 seconds, and I am going to have this on here for you, babe.
Try to redeem yourself, huh?
Oh, yeah, I'm so redeeming myself.
From not putting it in the notes.
You are going to be proud of me yet again.
Okay. You don't have the name.
Oh. Mm-mm.
So
this is what you sent me. Sorry.
I sent you the screenshot so you could see the name of the person.
Are you sure that you don't want to edit this episode?
I'm not editing it, but we'll continue. I'll find the information I need to find for the end.
I'll keep going. I'm carrying this podcast episode anyway, so I'll just keep going.
Yeah.
But here's the deal. This book is a guide really designed to help parents raise respectful, responsible, and emotionally healthy kids without constant conflict. And many of you feel like in your parenting, there's just constant conflict. And for seasons, you might have that. But if you are continuously disciplining in a proper manner, then that will lighten up. Like that will get better. And then the other thing that we really like to focus on in this book is that discipline isn't just about correcting behavior, but it's about shaping character. It's about getting to your child's heart. It's not just about getting good behavior out of your child.
Right.
It is about reaching their heart.
So when we talk about shaping character, Lysandra, why don't you share what led us to wanting to write this book now?
So basically, we always had different ideas. Like we have a running book list of topics we would like to write about eventually.
It's like, I think we should write about this, and Lysandra's like, I think this is a good one, and we kind of go back and forth about what to do when. But yeah.
But we have a whole list of like book ideas for future books, and this
she's been pushing off the book that I want us to write on sex. So
yeah, we're supposed to write a book on sex, and I keep pushing it off because
I need your help. Listen, I need your help out there.
No,
you've got to help me put the pressure on her to get this book done.
So now I'm going to have a bunch of people messaging me being like, hey, can you write me a book on sex?
Exactly.
Oh,
that's
fun.
exactly what I need you to do. Text, email, social media
Bombard
messages.
Me.
Yes, let's just do it.
Okay. Wait, could that be the title of the book? Hey! Oh, I'm funny, guys. Okay, so...
Look at you. You're like, I can't believe I actually said that.
I know. I'm trying to breeze past it. So we have all these book ideas that we want to write eventually. And discipline, a book on parenting, was in the ideas. But what kept happening is every conference that we would go to when we would have Q&As, if there were any parenting questions or if any couples would pull us aside in between sessions and talk to us about parenting, every single conversation was about discipline.
Yeah.
Like that is what parents are struggling with. And so it just kept kind of coming into our peripheral. It was like, and then pretty soon it was like, okay, we get it.
Yeah.
This is what parents need right now. This is the one that's important.
Part of the problem that parents are struggling with is we have either grown up or witnessed it done very wrong, very strong-handedly,
Absolutely.
very, if not abusive, right there on the line. And then culture swung the complete opposite way, you know, and so you have parents who are trying to navigate, how do I actually do this? And what actually is a good biblical perspective on discipline itself?
Right, exactly. And so many methods for discipline have failed. And we've seen it. We have seen the abuse, or when the pendulum swung the other way, we saw our peers say like, okay, I was abused when I was a kid. I'm not touching my kids. I'm not even disciplining them in any way. And then we saw what that produced.
Yeah.
And that produced a lot of kids who have very little respect, who are not really producing much, right?
Well,
there's no work ethic.
They've not learned there's repercussions for their actions.
Exactly. And so it's producing like a generation of kind of like monsters. It's hard to watch sometimes. And we saw that with our peers as we were raising our kids. And so basically there are a lot of discipline methods that fail, whether they are extreme more towards abuse or no correction whatsoever.
But I think they fail not because parents don't care.
Absolutely.
It's because the approach doesn't match how children actually learn and develop. So just a couple of reasons, you know, why they fail. Because first of all, I think one of the things that jumps out right away to me is that they're confusing control with teaching. So a lot of methods focus on stopping behavior in the moment. And you're yelling, you're throwing the punishment out there, threats, but not really teaching the child what to do instead. And of course, that is our job. Like, one of our greatest jobs as parents is to teach our children, and to mentor and to bring them along so that they know what to do, when to do it, and all those sorts of things. Discipline is supposed to mean to teach, not just to correct. And if a child doesn't learn a replacement behavior, the problem just keeps on coming back. It's like, this is not a way to treat people. So think for just a minute. We'll go back to the very early toddler days, whether you're putting your child into daycare or into like a little nursery at church, a Sunday school class, or whatever else. A lot of times, children don't know how to verbalize different emotions and what's going on. And so instead of verbalizing, they might hit or they might bite, right? Mm-hmm. And so because of frustration, because of what somebody else did to them, well, it's our job to teach them, that's not an appropriate way to show your frustration or to deal with anger or fill in the blank, this emotion. What's the right way to display this emotion?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Another reason that discipline methods have failed, and you may have experienced this in your own parenting, is just inconsistency. Rules change depending on the parent's mood, and then the child gets mixed signals and they don't know what's what. One day something is ignored and the next day it's punished. So it makes it really hard for kids to understand boundaries, and they'll keep testing boundaries, and they'll also become very angry because it doesn't feel fair because it's not consistent. And we're going to talk more about that because this is one portion of our book. But inconsistency is really difficult on kids. And I have watched parents be extremely inconsistent where I'm with them enough where I saw one day the parent would lose their mind over something that a child did. And then the next time I was with them, they ignored it or laughed at it. Yeah. The exact same behavior. And I'm like, all right, I'm a 30-year-old adult and I'm confused.
Yeah.
This poor child has no idea what's acceptable and what's not acceptable to you as a parent. And a lot of it has to do with, being tired, being stressed, like they're too tired to talk about it.
Right, you're parenting based off your emotions rather than the situations themselves.
Yeah, and it's not like you've decided what is and is not acceptable. It's just like in the moment you're making all your decisions, and the moments feel different every time. So therefore, you're not consistent at all. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more when we get into chapter by chapter.
But then your children will either just get completely gun shy, where they will completely shut down because they don't know what to expect, or they will push really hard against the boundaries all the time because, well, last time I could get away with it, so this time I'm going to try to get away with this or even more, So
right.
The third kind of reason they fail is expectations that don't match development.
Right.
So sometimes children are disciplined for behavior that's actually normal for their age or where they're at developmentally.
Right.
So all kids don't develop at the same age. There's a lot of different reasons why they would maybe be ahead of a certain age or behind a certain age. The point is you have to know and understand your child and where they're at. When expectations are unrealistic, then discipline feels unfair and ineffective. So you have to make sure that you are disciplining your kid based upon where they are with their age and developmentally.
That's right. Another reason that discipline methods fail is a lack of emotional connection. So you maybe are not putting in the time and attention that they need in positive ways. So the only interaction that you're having with your child is correction, punishment, maybe it's yelling, threatening, whatever. They need some times where they sit and have a nice time with mom and dad, or they go and have, fun with mom and dad,
yeah.
or they have good conversations with mom and dad, or positive affirmations from mom and dad. Because kids are far more responsive when they feel understood and connected and they feel loved. So if discipline happens without any empathy, then children might resist that, or like Thomas said, shut down instead of learning and growing. And I think about things like where, all you hear is your child is crying and all they hear from you is, stop crying, just stop it, knock it off, right? Well, why are you crying? What's going on? How can we help? And obviously that doesn't mean no discipline, right? They might still need discipline even though they're crying.
Right, yeah.
But discipline without love is abuse. And that is one thing that we go into in depth in the book.
But the thing is, like, your kids should hear mostly positive things from you all the time. Mm-hmm. They should be hearing thanks and praise and affirmation. You should be noticing when they're doing things right, and you should be letting them know that you see that. You should let them know when you see the effort and everything that they're putting in. If the only time they hear from you, like Lysander talked about, is when they do something wrong and you're correcting them, you're setting yourself up for a lot of issues.
Yeah.
So that emotional connection, as Lysander mentioned, is really important. Another one is reacting instead of planning. And we kind of touched on this already, but many discipline moments happen in frustration. And when parents react emotionally, the response is often harsher or less thoughtful than intended, which over time weakens the long-term effectiveness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it makes me think about like not just disciplining in frustration, but I think the worst way to discipline is in embarrassment.
Yeah. Oh,
like,
yeah.
When you are embarrassed of what your kid just did in front of another parent.
Your kid's screaming through the grocery store.
Yeah, whether they're strangers or family or friends or whatever. And you're just so embarrassed that all of a sudden you react to their behavior rather than like, okay, every time my child does this, this is how I will respond.
Yes.
It's more of a like, I'm so embarrassed and I have to just get this to stop. And these other people are judging me.
And it's just so interesting to me how much we care about what a complete stranger thinks about our parenting skills.
It is really funny.
It's like, this person doesn't know you. You probably never see them again. And yet I want them to think that I'm the best dad in the world or I'm the best mom in the world.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
But
it's
really
reality.
is.
It is reality.
But you touched on something. It's like you should know what the rules are. And then you should also know what the repercussions are every time that rule is broken.
Exactly.
So if you're making it up in the moment and you're just reacting, the discipline's not going to have the intended long-term outcome that you're hoping for.
Exactly. Right. Absolutely. And then this one is so detrimental to your parenting. No follow through. It's threats, empty threats, empty threats, empty threats. And consequences that aren't enforced, they lose their meaning. They mean nothing. They mean nothing. They're comical. They're ridiculous. And children learn really quickly when limits aren't real.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They know, like, oh, she doesn't really mean that she's going to, like, no TV for a week.
Yeah. Because, like, I'm sorry, but I need my kids to watch some TV. I am definitely going to fall back on that threat. Like, never mind. Get in there and watch some TV. I need a break.
Yeah, we are at times definitely pro-screen parents.
Yes, exactly. But with limits, right?
Yeah.
So these are some of the things that we have seen.
Well, and I feel like I can't, like, just, like, go through this without giving Drew a hard time. You know, Drew's a friend of ours, longtime listener of the podcast. Him and his wife, Chloe, have been to multiple of our marriage events. And one time, I can't remember if it was one of his kids or all of his kids, you may remember, but they were acting up.
The story's in the book.
And oh, it's in the book. Okay.
Yeah. You read it, but you don't remember.
I'll call him out. Lysander has the details in the book, but basically he told him, like, you're never having pizza again.
Yes.
Never having Little Caesars pizza again.
And I did not name him in the book.
Oh, I just named him.
I just said a parent.
So when you're reading the book, you know it is Drew.
Oh, man. I'm so sorry, Drew.
Drew Koski.
Oh, no. You did not last name him.
He's like, no more Little Caesars. And the kids are like, please, no, let us have the cardboard pizza.
Because it's Ollie's favorite meal in the world.
Yes.
And so he was devastated. And it was funny, though, to hear Drew tell the story because he talks about, like, how his heart was immediately smitten, like, at the threat he made that he never really meant or intended to carry out, because we all know that we as parents of small children, have to have Little Caesars in our life every once in a while to afford a cheap, easy meal.
Yeah, hot and ready.
Hot and ready. Man,
But-
we had that a lot.
And of course, I give Drew a hard time, and I can because we're friends. But all of us as parents have been there where we
Yes.
just like, we throw something out there that the consequence is never going to be enforced.
Right, exactly. And
And
so,
if you keep doing that over time, your kids learn, like, they don't really mean it.
yeah, it becomes meaningless. Yep.
So in Discipline That Works, we talk about our 5 C's of discipline. It came out of a sermon series that I did, I don't know, how many, it must have been 10 or 12 years ago now.
Definitely.
When I was still pastoring up in Iowa, and I was doing a series called PG Parental Guidance. And you know how when you go see a movie, it will have like the rating screen on there, and that was kind of the idea. And discipline was one of the things that I talked about. And later on, I think it's episode 3, we did a podcast episode on it,
Yes.
which anytime we go back and mention the early episodes, here's what I tell people. And this is true. I tell people this when they tell me they want to start a podcast or start anything. You're going to suck at first. Okay?
And we did.
So,
well, we suck now.
If you... Well, I mean, it's not been your A game today. I'll say that.
This episode has been a dumpster fire, but that's
So,
all right.
Don't judge us now on episode 3, okay? But
Don't judge us on episode 289 either.
yes, exactly. Go back to 288.
Yeah, I
and
think
start there.
that one was okay.
But in episode 3, we talk about the 5 C's of discipline as well, and we've kind of had this in our pocket, so to speak, to write this book for a long time. Mm-hmm. So we just want to kind of share give you an overview of what the book is like, and then we are going to encourage you to hit that link and buy the book and go through it.
And when we do these 5 C's, basically the chapters are the do's and don'ts of discipline. So
10 chapters divided into 5 sections. Basically.
Exactly. Yep. So it's like, don't be this, do this instead, right? And that is the premise of the book with these 5 C's.
So book starts off after the introduction. First, one of the C's here, we have chapter 1, don't be vague. A lack of clarity leads to frustration. Mm-hmm. So you need to make sure that you are clear. What are the rules? Mm-hmm. And it was interesting because to kind of promote the book and all that, I have been posting some things about parenting and some stuff from the book. And I made this post last night that says, discipline does not start with punishment, it starts with clarity. If you didn't divine the rule, you are not ready to enforce it. And I had a few comments underneath there. David Weirs commented, and I apologize if I'm not saying that right, Weirs, but Wears.
It is unclear how to pronounce his name.
Yes. I need little markers above the vowels so I know what to do. But he said this, and I assume he's kind of making a joke about it, but I'd only qualify this with reasonable clarity, as some of us have lawyers for children.
Yes.
You only said not to stand on the table. I wasn't. I was jumping on the table. So I thought that was kind of funny.
But we literally talk about that because our Isabella, our daughter number 2, was a lawyer. We actually thought she would grow up to be a lawyer. She would find the loopholes. She had the arguments.
Yes.
And not a bad attitude. She would have a very calm attitude, and she would be like, but you said this.
She gets that from her dad.
It is totally from Thomas. And it was like, oh, great. Now I have 2 of you I have to deal with.
But I thought it was funny. Aaron Adams commented under that. I've got one of these. He's just like me.
Yep.
Just funny. But what I would say to David is like, okay, you have to be ultra clear. Like,
Exactly.
Like no standing on the table, no jumping on the table, no sitting on the table. Don't climb on the table at all.
You can't get up on the table.
Tables for eating. And so we want to be as clear as possible.
Exactly.
And this goes back to what we were saying a little while ago about knowing your kid, which both Aaron and David know these children very well, so that they can then give them the clear instructions that they need.
Whereas you may have another child in your home where all you have to do is say, don't stand on the table.
Yes.
And that's enough. They know, when you only give that much, information, they are going to not even get up on the table.
Yep.
But that's where knowing your kid comes along, and where clarity is the most important thing. Like, you've got to start there. Discipline starts with clarity, being clear about what you want out of them.
So that's the don't. Chapter 2 of the clarity C is literally just do be clear. Mm-hmm. Clarity creates safety because it lets your kids know exactly what's okay, what's not okay. And children want to know what's safe. They want to know where the boundaries are, and that brings safety to them.
It does. It brings peace. And I feel that as an adult. Every situation I walk into, whether it is a job situation, whether it is a church situation, a family situation, relationally, friends, whatever I'm going into, I feel the most calm and peace when I feel like everything is very clear. Like, I know what I'm supposed to do. I know what is expected of me. I know what I'm not supposed to do. I know what's appropriate. I think about something as simple as like how to dress for an event, right? Like, once you know what the event is, and you know how to dress for it, you know that that's appropriate, and you're walking into this situation, you're like, I know that I'm dressed appropriately, and I know I'm going to act appropriately. There's like this relaxing that happens, and it's like a peace. And that's as adults, and then children,
It's funny because I don't care about that at all.
Yeah. But you do, but I disagree with you on that. You're just not thinking about the right thing. Let's talk way back about when you started in the fire service. You wanted to know how to dress when you showed up at those stations, what you could say, what you couldn't say.
Okay, I guess in certain scenarios, you're right.
Yes, when it's something that you feel like is really important, whereas I feel everything is important.
Yes, you do.
have like 3 things that's
yes,
important.
That's true. All right, I agree with you.
Okay,
yes.
So we all feel more peace when everything is clear. And our kids have very little or no emotional regulation, right? Their emotions are all over the place. That's why we see kids throwing fits on the floor, because they don't know how to handle their emotions. Well, for them, when there's no clarity, it's so much stronger. Like, it's so much more difficult. So when they feel like they know exactly what to expect, what you expect of them, what the rules, the boundaries are, then they can have more peace, but also then they decide if they're going to obey or not, right?
Yeah.
Ultimately, the kids are deciding whether or not they're going to obey, and then we have to deal with what they decide to do. But at least they're making their decision based on what they know is right and wrong.
Right. They know the line. They know what the punishment's going to be if they cross that line.
Exactly.
So first C is clarity. The second C is confrontation. And chapter 3 is don't ignore, because a lack of confrontation leads to destruction. Mm-hmm. And so this is one of the worst parts of parenting, is confronting that bad behavior, the breaking the rules, and the character issues. We got to stand up and confront them.
Yeah.
And so chapter 4 is the positive side of that. Do confront, because confronting bad behavior leads to growth. Mm-hmm. And we want to make sure that our kids don't just continue to repeat cycles, but that they learn to change and to grow and become better people. So
absolutely. And I think about, like, I can go back to very specific times in my younger parenting where I'd be like on the couch, I've got my book, I've got a snack, the kids are playing, I'm like exhausted, and I just want like a few minutes to just sit here and eat this snack and read my book. And then one of the kids does something naughty.
And there's that temptation to let it slide.
Yeah, because I don't want to get up. Like, I just want to eat this food and read the rest of this chapter, And yet now I've got to put everything down. I've got to get out from underneath my like cozy blanket, and I've got to go confront this behavior. And it's like, I totally get it why you don't want to do that, because I've been there. You want to just ignore it so that you can have a little bit of quiet time or whatever. You're exhausted or you're lazy or whatever it may be, right? And like, we get that. And we talk about that in the book.
Yep.
Yet how, when you do, uncover from the blanket and put the snack down, put the book down, and go confront the behavior, you will not regret that when they're older. Because what you're producing is kids that grow into teens and young adults who are just lovely to be around.
Yeah.
Because you got up off the couch.
So we have clarity, we've got confrontation. Lysandra, what is our next C?
Consistency. Consistency. This is so important. Chapter 5 is don't be inconsistent, because a lack of consistency leads to anger. And we talked about that a little bit when we talked about the methods that fail.
Yep.
When you're inconsistent and it's like, this day I blow up about this behavior, this day I don't. Or here's another form of inconsistency that I think people maybe don't think about. And that is, this older child doesn't get in trouble for whatever this younger child did, and vice versa. So it's like inconsistency across the board of siblings.
Yeah.
So being consistent, like you may have a favorite child. Like you may have a child that like is just easier to deal with. You get along better with them. So when they have this behavior, you let it slide, but you don't let it slide for this child who is defiant and difficult, right?
Yeah.
So consistency across the board with children too.
Well, and consistency, when I think about chapter 5, I just think about teaching our girls to go from their crib to their toddler bed, their big girl bed. And for us, especially me, like bedtime is a discipline issue. So that means dad. And it was so hard to be consistent. And every time they get up, this is the punishment, no matter how many times that night it happens or how many nights in a row. But that's all part of teaching them and training them. And you got to be consistent in your discipline. And so I share that story, especially with one of our daughters, what we went through one night. Probably the worst night of my parenting life was that night, teaching her to stay in her bed. But we've got to be consistent. Your kids need to see that consistency out of you, that they know every time I break this rule, every time I do this thing I'm not supposed to, this is what's going to happen.
Absolutely. And chapter 6 is do be consistent. Consistency creates peace. Chapter 7 then is charity, and charity is another way to say love. And so it's chapter 7 is don't be unloving. A lack of love leads to abuse. And these two chapters, unloving and loving, these were ones that it felt like we could have made an entire book out of just these chapters. They're so vitally important. In fact, they're so important that I talked to Thomas about potentially putting these as the first two chapters, because, so often, like when you read a book, you start and then you put it down and forget about it and don't go back. And I was like, I want to make sure if people read nothing else that they read about being loving and unloving.
I overruled because I had them in this progression for a reason. But yes.
Exactly. It starts with clarity. And I understand that, but I'm just like, please read these chapters. These are the ones that are so important, because if you are disciplining and there is no love in your discipline, that is abuse, and it is wrong. It is sinful, and it's traumatizing your children. There has to be love in your discipline. And chapter 8 is do show charity. Love-filled correction leads to healing. So if you are disciplining and there is no love, you're damaging your children, you're damaging your relationship. And when they are older, you are not going to have a sweet relationship like what we're enjoying with our kids right now. And yet, if you do discipline with love in the right way, in control, then what you're going to have is you're going to have children who you've reached their heart.
Yeah.
Their heart is changed, and their heart is tender toward you and toward the rules and everything. And then you have this beautiful relationship that you just get to like bask in. I just feel it's like, that's how I feel like we are right now with our kids, is we're just basking in this like beautiful relationship, like feeling the sun on your skin. And that's how it feels, our relationship with our kids now. And I know that the love that was put into the discipline that we both did is the reason.
Yeah. So those of you who are keeping track of the 5 C's, we have clarity, confrontation, consistency, charity, and what's our last C there, Lysandra?
Closure, and it has to take place. Closure. So chapter 9 is don't stay unresolved. A lack of restoration leads to rebellion, and do create closure. Closure leads to peace, and that's what you want to have, is peace in your home, right? Well, after you implement discipline, correct behavior, there has to be a time when the child says, I'm sorry. You accept their apology. You wrap your arms around them and say, I love you. I forgive you. This is over. we're not going to talk about this again. And that was what we did in our family, is when we had the restoration and they apologized, we didn't talk about it ever again. And there's one exception, and that is a pattern of continued behavior, right? So like we wouldn't constantly bring up like old things that they did, unless it was like, okay, now you haven't washed the dishes on your day 6 weeks in a row, right? Then we're seeing a pattern. We have to talk about it, right? But once we did the restoration, as long as it wasn't a pattern of behavior, then we could let it go and we wouldn't talk about it anymore. The restoration had happened, and that means closure, and now peace is brought back into the home and to the relationship.
Yep. And so whether you're dealing with tantrums, defiance, or just everyday disobedience, we believe this book will give you a framework that actually works in real life. You follow these principles, and it will help you to be the best parent that you can possibly be in your discipline.
Absolutely. So we want to encourage you to get the book and read it and hopefully implement it. We just pray over this book that the Lord will use it in a great way in so many families. So it is called Discipline That Works. You can find it on Amazon and Kindle right now. And very soon, in about a week, it will be up on our website to order a signed copy if you wish.
So family meeting tonight, you're going to sit down as husband and wife, just parents, and you're going to talk about your discipline and how do you feel that it is. Think about these 5 C's that we've talked about. Do you have clarity in your discipline? Do your kids know what the rules are and know what the repercussions are? What about your confrontation? Are you good or bad about confronting your kids when they do what's wrong? Are you consistent? Is every time they do this thing, are you confronting them and disciplining the exact same way? Is there charity? Like, are you loving in the way that you discipline? Or is it done out of anger? Is it done out of frustration? That's going to create a lot of problems for you. And then finally, what about closure? When it comes to discipline, is there closure for your child and for you? So talk about what you're doing well. Talk about maybe what's not going so well. And as Lysandra mentioned, encourage you to click that link and purchase your copy of Discipline That Works. And then do us a favor. You can help us help more parents, and that is by leaving a review.
Yes.
The goal is to get 100 reviews, and that kind of boosts you up in Amazon's rankings. So if you can go and leave a review of the book, that will help us be able to help a lot more parents. Discipline is the worst part of parenting. And sometimes you're like, man, I wish I would have just had some help as I was getting ready to get started, or I was in a difficult season. That's exactly what this book is intended to be. Come along to say, hey, this will help you be the best parent you can possibly be.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for joining us today. Please go and subscribe to the Family Meeting Podcast from your favorite podcast provider. And if you found this information helpful, please share this episode on social media and invite your friends and family to listen in with you.
To find more content and information Lysandra and I provide, you can go to our website, familymeeting.org, or email us at info@familymeeting.org. If you'd like to shoot us a text or call us, you can send a voice message at 904-257-3062. So, mentioned we had something cool happen. So Caleb Farmer reached out to me months ago. He is the assistant pastor at Temple Baptist Church in Pasco, Washington, and he said, hey, we want to take your book, Happily Never After, and use it as a discussion for our married small groups class. Which I thought was so cool. Temple Baptist Church, Marriage and Family Sunday School, small group. And so they have been going through Happily Never After, and I helped send them some discussion questions, and he took that and formulated however he felt was best for his group and his class. And they've been having some great conversations, and they've also been taking certain podcast episodes and using that as a basis to have conversations about marriage. So I thought that was
so cool.
So great. In fact, he told me that this past week they discussed our recent episode on emotional infidelity. So it said in this quote from him, we had some great discussion and it was a blessing. And I thought, Caleb, that is so cool what you are doing there. and maybe give some other ministries some ideas as far as that goes. We do have a goal of getting our books and workbooks made that will be good for small groups and for going through them as couples and all of that. So hopefully I can win the day out and get our chief writer and on this ASAP. So once again, same thing about the sex book, about the workbooks.
Oh my goodness.
Let her hear it. Let her know.
There's a lot on the list of things to do. We'll get there eventually. All right. Well, join us next week for our next family meeting as we discuss a topic that is really about marriage. We're going to talk about sex. Because what do you do if you've told your spouse that you need to be having more sex more often? And maybe it works for a little while and like, okay, I'm starting to feel like my needs are being met. And then it starts to kind of dwindle off a little bit and you feel like you're having this conversation over and over, or maybe you don't know how to have that conversation. This is an episode idea based on a conversation that I had with a very sweet young woman at one of our conferences. And I was like, I know that this is an issue in more marriages than just hers, and it's been an issue in our marriage. So we are going to talk about sex next episode. So join us for our next family meeting as we talk about what to do if you are not having enough sex.
Thanks for joining us today for this family meeting. Have a great week, everybody. This meeting is adjourned. All right.
Did you enjoy that dumpster fire of an episode?
This is what happens when we let Lysander carry the episode.
Listen, this episode for YouTubers was like a train wreck where you
just can't look away.
And you got to watch it for yourself and see just the flames and the destruction. And yet I want to say that we powered through and we got to the end of it.
Yes, we made it.
And I want to say it could have been worse.
Could it have been?
I don't know.
That's exactly what they're thinking. Could it have been? Like, how so?
Listen, though, we want to hear from you. Let us know, first of all, about your Easter and how everything went. We'd love to hear about that. But we also want to hear about discipline and what stories happened in your life. Get the book, Discipline That Works. You can order it right now from Amazon or get it on your Kindle.
And leave us a review. And with that, we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.